Our morning safari live drive. This is a beautiful morning. It's very, very still, a little bit of very high cloud. My name is Mark. Got Jason and Nadav on camera this morning, and we're going to head out. I've got a glimpse into the future, and I think our future is elephants this morning because I need my ellie fix. We're a little bit far from camp in the moment. We just came out to sort out some equipment near the mast, which gives us a little bit of an advantage. We're starting in an area we don't really start in. So I think what we'll do is we'll head maybe to Sandy Patch, or we're close to Zoe's Road. There have been a lot of elephants around on Vuatela this last night. All the way here this morning, a lot of elephant tracks crisscrossing the access road into Vuatela, which means that there are families of elephants that are all moving in. They seem to be all in communication with each other, even though their groups are crossing the roads at various different points, because they all seem to be the same time, but spaced well enough apart. And I think we need to go and find some ellies. And other things, of course. There are lots of things to find on a cool morning. The cloud cover is very, very high. I don't think there's any threat of precipitation. We'll have a look at Impala plains to begin with. At the moment, must have had a burn sometime during the dry season, maybe towards the end of the dry season. Not sure if it was a controlled burn or an accidental burn. Oh, look for kudu. Group of kudu cows. You will see them. I'm going to come back this way. We're just going to have a look at this beautiful open area that looks out to the northwest, close by. This recent weather that we've had might have cleared the air enough to see the mountains. The most beautiful escarpment that we have here is the Drakensberg Mountains. Exceptionally long range. Stretches all the way down into the Cape. Almost. Well, sure, a lot of you are staying up to watch. Some of you are ahead of us in time over on the eastern side of the planet, east of me at least. Australia, New Zealand, maybe the Orient. Anybody in Japan or China. It's raining over the escarpment. I'm not going to see any mountains today. Wildebeest Impala. They're all on the edge of there. They would have spent the evening on the open area, and now as the day wears on, they start moving into the thicker bush. Not only for cooler temperatures, especially in the hot sunny days that we get, but also in terms of predation. diurnal predators like wild dog and cheetah hunt on the open plains like this, so it's easier for the prey species to defend themselves when they're in thicker vegetation, and vice versa at night. At night, when the leopard and lion and hyena are likely to be out hunting. We could bring the camera forward, perhaps straight ahead there, those koppies in the mist, in that rain. That's sort of the northwestern point of the Sabi Sand. Just to the left of that marula tree. You can see it's raining quite heavily in the distance. Just about make up what we call koppies. They like Inselbergs. They like rocky outcrops, some of them up to 100, 200 meters high. Several lodges on those koppies. I guess, yeah. Horizon. Okay, but we're going to go, so don't worry about it, just too much. We are going to go and see where all these pachyderms have gone to. Sparring with one of the little ones, and what that is getting them ready for the time when they're going to need to start fighting for territory. There's a slightly older ram too, probably the mentor for the spatula herd. At first they start with very gentle sparring, getting to know the techniques needed to fence with two very sharp swords on the tops of their heads. Now it's at grazing time for food. Now, a couple of you might be wondering where Scott is. We're on a new sort of schedule at the moment, schedule, potato, tomato, that kind of thing. And for the time being, after this intense period with the big cat week, for a couple of days of the week we're going to be doing a one vehicle drive in the morning. Because from now on up until the end of January we're going to be busy every day, and it's a little bit, I would say maybe it's a bit unsustainable for us both to be out every day, every drive. So what we're going to do is Mondays to Thursdays, there's going to be one of us in the morning, we'll be both in the afternoon, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be both out on the drives. I want to see if we can get one of these little flowers, very tiny little flowers on the ground. Where's a nice one? Let me go back and get those there. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but this is practice for my camera person, because this time of the year there are a lot of flowers. There's some of them over here. Perhaps if you could try and get a tight shot on some of those little lobelias. They're not that round ball, but the little flowers in front of it. Yeah, there we go. That white looks fluffy, but it's not really sharp either, but it's the flower head of a sedge grass known as Kailinga alba. But the tiny little flowers in front, so not big and showy, but they are very, very delicate little flowers known as lobelia. We get a very wide variety of cultivated lobelia, a very big market for lobelia all over the world as a small, I suppose, pot plant or planting trays, windowsill trays. Very deep blues. They've managed to genetically manipulate these flowers to get the deepest of the blues coming out and the whitest of whites. find some bigger flowers. Tree flowers. Sickle bush, because in fact here's a sickle bush. We'll get to it shortly, because this is where this is all coming from. Yeah, it's got a pretty little flower on it. I don't know if Dove will maybe be able to zoom in on that flower, but I'm a bit far for that. We'll find a nice one that's in flower. The spines of the sickle bush and several other plants are modified branches as opposed to the modified leaves that the acacias and other thorny plants have. And because it's a modified branch, it's very, very woody and very, very solid. So when we're driving out in the bush, it'll be fine to drive over the thorns of an acacia because they'll just break under the tires, but this will go through even a 12, 16 ply tire. And I don't need a flat. Woke up this morning and one of the wheels was flat, and I hope it's going to hold for the drive, because it seems to be a bit of a slow leak. So these are things to be careful. I'll go through the sole of the shoe as well, and I'll find you the flower. Or maybe there's one sad looking flower on that tree, but there will be others. A really pretty two-color flower. The name comes from the fact that it has a two-color flower. Dicrostachys. Di meaning two, chromos coming from the word cross, or cross, C-H-R-O-S, or cross. Chromos is color, I think, in Greek. Any Greek speaking people out there? And stachys meaning flower, so Dicrostachys meaning two-color flower, which I will find for you. There's a flower I need to find for you, Clancy. And Clancy wants animal, well, Ellie's, but it would be nice to find a lion, maybe. It's buffalo. Clancy also, oh, look at that. We've got a buffalo with big kudu bulls behind them. Hello, boys. Bachelor boys. Bachelor kudu, bachelor buffalo. That's a very nice big kudu in the background, just over the back of the buffalo. Amongst all this thatching grass. Seems they must have spent the night here, these boys. Oops, under the thatch. One, two, three. Let's go forward. We can see these kudu. The Duggar boys are not going anywhere. We can come back and find them a bit later. I want to store get further, but these kudu bulls, might be able to see them better if we go a bit forward. Hello, old men. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 old Duggar boys. That's something you want to come across on a walk. 6 old Duggar boys lying in the grass. You can virtually trip over them. There we go. That might be moving this way, these kudu bulls. Just of your screen at the moment, just behind that bush, is probably the biggest bull of the lot. He's about to come out to the right. An exceptionally wide, what we call a wide spread to his horns, as opposed to the bull we were looking at, who's got quite a narrow spread.